I think I do. You're talking to me?
Yeah.
Good job.
You're next on staff.
Yes,
So.
I think I do because, I mean, I've been listening, and we're kind of all kind of saying the same thing, but we're not getting out, or I don't feel like we're getting out to hit the real point of what's been going on here for the past couple months. That started in New York, and now here we are, okay? The first thing I'd like to say is to every one of you, I have no doubt, and I have full faith that all of you are very concerned about our people, the American people, taking care of the homeless, doing all you can do. I firmly believe that. What I think, I'm going to speak for myself here, I think what I have been watching for the past 2 months from the outside in is it's not about just getting a legitimate complaint going and this, that, and the other, and you know, people are just kind of out here flinging it or anything. What I have been watching in this nation is a nightmare. And I do not care if anybody disagrees with me. It's fine for them to do it. But it is a fact that our government is broken. And it is broken. Our Congress is down to a 9% approval rate. All right? We are broke. This nation is going down. Done. All right? Capitalism itself is falling, which is disgraceful. A total disgrace. Now, where we're coming from is this. This is a new social movement. New. This is all brand new. Every one of us. All right? I have not spent thousands of hours with these folks, but I do know this. These people in this room, they're smart. They're extremely intelligent. Now, I put this together, and I see how they conduct themselves. They disagree, and then they agree. And you don't see
it never happens in our office.
And you don't see them duking it out. And I really mean it. They are conducting themselves well down there. Now, this is my point, and I think it's the point of everybody in this room, and I hope that this panel and the whole administration and the city of St. Louis kind of gets this point, is it's not so much as about occupation of a space. It is about that if we do not get out here, you're not going to listen to us. And now you are listening to us. All the way from New York to St. Louis to Seattle to Austin to Dallas to everywhere. And the reason why is because our complaints are not only just about complaining, they are valid. Now, the Republican Party is dismantling before my eyes. The Democratic Party can't make a decision from the left to the right. Nobody can move nowhere, and we are going broke. Now, this is what we need. We need to be visible every day, 24 hours a day, and we need a liaison. What is it called? A liaison from us to your office, the mayor's office, to the media. And it isn't that we think that we're kind of like, we're the best in the world. No. Because what we're trying to do, I believe, is this, is everybody begin to learn how to conduct ourselves as children from the ground up, and then guess what's going to happen? And it's going to happen quick. I know what I think. And I know what these people in here are thinking. Sir, the truth is I have the greatest respect for everybody on this panel. And I have respect for my government. But the fact is this government has been broken, and we have more ideas than what this panel does not know. And we do believe that if we get together and if we do this, we can actually help our government through our ideas.
Great. I'm going to
Roland, does that make sense?
That's important. So I do want to introduce, I'm going to introduce hand signals that you all should feel free to use too. This is Adele, this means if you think this is something that's saying someone off topic to the point at hand, you can do this.
Hey, you
as
can't
well.
use that back at the office. Giving them bad ideas.
And obviously if you disagree, this is disagreement, this is agreement.
Can I just say something real quick? Just so you know, we're not the federal government. I mean, you have our attention, but I have about as much power and authority over the federal government as you do. And you know what flows downhill, so every time the federal government fights a war and then ignores veterans, guess who ends up taking care of the veterans? And every time the federal government does something stupid, we have more people, poor people, guess who gets to take care of the poor people? every single day, Bill, am I lying? And every single day, we see the impact of federal policies, because every single day, we're asked to clean up their mess. I got about as much authority and as much ability to change the federal government as you.
So we've all agreed to talk for 5 or 10 minutes about space. This is the Occupy movement meeting.
We found somebody.
So I think you were next in the red hair and the daisy.
But my question doesn't have to do with space, so I...
All right, we'll come back to you then. And then you in the back, on the back wall, do you have a comment on space?
Yes, I do. It is, if I'm not mistaken, there are some other occupations in which city officials have elected to repeal the ordinances that would not allow them to stay overnight in the parks. I really don't see, from a safety standpoint, the difference in shuffling us off to a vacant lot where nobody can see us, as opposed to just letting us stay where we are. Because if you're talking about it from a safety standpoint, a tent can catch on fire in a vacant lot as easy as it can in Keener Plaza.
Right, well, this is where you sort of hear lots of different things. In essence, the reason that we are here today is that we are receiving a growing number of complaints from other people who want to be able to use the park, and we all have to figure out a way to coexist. I'm sure there's an issue long-term about public safety, but hopefully you guys would figure that one out. But the fact of the matter is that we have a very diverse city. Some people agree with you, some people disagree with you, and we have to all coexist. And your rights are not paramount to anybody else's rights, and the reason we're here today is to figure out, is there a way for all of us to coexist? That's the main issue.
And I understand that there are some people that don't support the occupation, but there also are quite a few people that do. And so to just automatically side with those
Well, we're not siding with anyone.
and evict us or keep us from sleeping there seems to be a little presumptuous.
So again, we're looking for, we should come back to everyone who wants to talk more about these things. We're specific ideas or thoughts on space. Thomas, I think you were next.
Ideas for space, yeah, Thomas Stroud, chaplain. Coalescing it down into a small enough statement. Yes, we do need something 24/7 that has some visibility. In an ideal world, it would be a 24/7 location with very high visibility, so that when people drive by, even in the morning, they see that there are people serious about making change.
What about the size?
I wish I had a crystal ball that could predict that. Because
24/7.
right now, look at this room.
Well, yeah, 24/7 is doable, visibility is doable, size, the more we put on there, it's like when you're buying a car or something, the more stuff you put on there, the harder it is to find.
Right, but if you just take the people that are in this room, think of the size that would be necessary to have tents.
Well, we should give an answer on how many people have been camping over the last couple of weeks. Does anyone have those numbers?
I actually counted yesterday with a couple people from the press, and we had 52 tents.
And how many people were in them?
Every tent, the small ones obviously have like one, but some tents have 3 to 4.
Most tents are 2 people.
Okay.
Yeah, most tents are 2 people.
All right, Alyssa, we took you. You're Alyssa, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I know you forfeited before, so why don't you talk now?
Okay, sorry. So I was just kind of confused on, you said that you're having issues with other people wanting to use the park, and yes, it's public space and they should be able to use it too. But you said, as far as I'm understanding, that you're completely okay with us being there from 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. So how does that address the issue of other people wanting to use the park?
Because what the other people say is, why are we enforcing the law with you like we're enforcing it for them and everybody else? And so...
Structures, too.
Yeah, and the structures. So what it really comes down to is this. So in the city, again, I'm going to give you an example. So in the city, what we've tried to do is not be officious, and every time there's a law or a rule, just apply it just to be bureaucrats. Okay. So we had a situation where there was an old guy selling pretzels down on Jameson. Okay, and people love buying pretzels from the guy. Now technically, he was supposed to have a permit, but we looked the other way because everybody liked it. Then another guy decides he's going to try to take the guy's business, and he starts selling pretzels a block away. So people complain. He didn't have a permit either. What I said was to people who complain, why don't we just let the marketplace take care of it and figure out how we can all coexist? no, we want you to enforce the law, it's the law, you gotta enforce the law, so we had to enforce the law. Now, unfortunately, that one, we still were able to figure out a solution. It's the same way here, we had hoped that everybody could coexist, but when we don't coexist and people complain that people are violating the law, we have to enforce the law. Now, I get that you disagree with the law and the regulation, but we feel compelled to do that.
I think to kind of go back on that, there, especially when we were hosting the World Series here, there was plenty of laws being broken as far as the Cardinals fans are concerned, and they were completely ignored. And I know that
They weren't completely ignored, but when you have 100,000 violations, you're not gonna have 100,000 arrests. I can just tell you that.
well, I'm aware of
We need
that
more
too,
people.
but
There's something to that.
and then also there was
But that doesn't mean there were no arrests, and if you have more people and you're the person who happens to get arrested, you may not do that.
And also there was a rally in Keener Plaza that we worked with, it was like a Cardinals fan rally, and we worked completely with them. They asked us to take down our signs on that side of Keener Plaza, and we worked with them, and it worked out completely fine, with no issues. So I understand that there are events held in Keener, and there are people who want to use the space too, but I mean, I'm speaking on my terms that I'm completely willing to work with them. And if the issue is that, then I don't understand why we can't be there from like overnight, because they would be using the park from 6 a.m. till 10 p.m.
All right.
What has precipitated
Hang on. We've got, I have the media woman in red. Is that you? The next person? Oh.
You have raised your hand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if this pertains to the space, and I don't really know how you guys are operating, so, and I'm not actually a media person, I'm a private citizen, and I'm here because I wanted to understand what's going on, because I've been watching all of the coverage, and I don't understand what you guys want. So I've heard numerous times someone speaking to the divestiture of funds from Bank of America, and so just assuming this is a perfect world, if funds are divested by the city of St. Louis from Bank of America, will you then deoccupy Keener Plaza, or is there another goal after that that needs to be satisfied? So my question basically is, what is the end goal? And what about the free speech of the other groups? Because Occupy St. Louis, OWS, you guys' free speech rights don't supersede my own. If I want to have a rally at Keener Plaza, I would like to have the opportunity to do that. And if I go and seek a permit tomorrow for a rally, I can't receive one because you guys are occupying it. And so it's what about the free speech of the other groups? And then the reason I'm here is not to attack you, but I do want to understand what the end goal of OWS is for St. Louis, since you can't speak for the other OWSs that are around the country.
Okay, great. And I think you should talk to people after the meeting, and they can fill you in on a lot of our goals. Diane, I saw, was next.
Thank you. I want to tell you that most of us basically have worked all our lives. We're working for one thing and we haven't gotten it. We want our democracy back.
That's what it's about.
Now you people cannot give us our democracy back. And nothing we have done has given us our democracy back. And we see it slipping away. We see Citizens United. We see our democracy dying. Nothing we have done up until now has gotten anybody's attention. And it keeps slipping away and slipping away. Now we have their attention. And we can't give that up. I don't know what you will have to do to make room for us, to keep the attention of the government. So, and the powers that be, the 1%. But we have to have their attention. That's what we need from you. You're not the enemy. We understand that you can't give us our democracy back. But please let us work for that for ourselves.
What's so we're starting to get into the second round of people speaking again. What is your time? We haven't discussed this. How much?
Mine's open-ended.
Talk about space.
All right. So can I just raise your hand if you have a specific? It's now 4:22. Let's go to 4:30. Just only comments about space. Let's go to 4:30 on that. Who has a comment about space? Try to be short. I'm going to let Kathy supersede the stat. Nothing other than space, or I'm going to cut you off. Sorry, and you'll have to talk later. We'll just go around the room then real quick on space. Keep your hands up or partially up. Blue. Is that your name? I don't know.
I'm Colby.
Colby. She told me.
You ready?
Oh, blue scarf. Like, not that.
Go ahead and go right now?
Yes,
Okay.
quick on space.
Okay, I'd like to say, I know you were asking how big it should be or who should decide that. I think that should be for the people to decide because that's that's the message we're trying to portray, that us sleeping outside like that is a message to the public that that's why we are there. And that where we decide to tin up that, or the space that we occupy or the size that we occupy is relevant to how many people we have and where we decide it should be at. Because that's the right of the people, as well as I would like to comment on this. It's relevant to space. So in Austin we have had several other rallies, and we worked with them and we occupied the space together, and it was not a problem. And I'd like to state also that you made a comment earlier that you are not the federal government, but you are enforcing the state government, which is grievances, which means you can help us out. So.
Okay, space going around. I think, were you up on space? No, I thought I saw her.
He was first,
Okay.
so I'll go after.
Quick on space.
I was just going to say, we're going to occupy some space. We can do a really good job underneath the arch.
Next comment on space.
Having seen many other occupiers that are working at a park and making it work, permits coming for other events, they can just as easily move to another part of the park for the time of the event. I've seen it happen, it's worked. You keep saying you're concerned about the safety of the structures of the people there occupying. Wintertime is cold. They don't have tents, that's their warmth. They're able to keep warm from, if it snows, they're able to keep shelter from that. Taking away the structures, I mean, each city is unique for their occupations. I think tents are a big part of the occupation here because they need shelter from the cold.